If your ears are ringing all the time, like a constant buzzing, humming, or whistling sound that just won't stop, then do not ignore this, no matter how small or harmless it may seem right now. Because one of the biggest mistakes people make, especially after the age of 50 or 60, is assuming that this kind of symptom is just a normal part of aging. They brush it off. They learn to live with it. They tell themselves it's nothing serious, it happens to everyone. But the truth is very different. That sound you are hearing is not random. It is not meaningless. It is your body trying to communicate something important to you. And the longer you ignore it, the more difficult it becomes to correct what is actually going wrong beneath the surface. Think about how your body works for a moment. Every sensation you feel, every signal you experience, whether it is pain, fatigue, tingling, or even ringing in your ears, is part of a communication system. Your body does not randomly create discomfort. It creates signals when something is out of balance. The problem is not that the signal exists. The problem is that most people never stop to ask what the signal means. Instead, they try to silence it, ignore it, or distract themselves from it. And when it comes to ear ringing, this pattern is extremely common. At first, the sound may be very mild. You notice it only at night when everything is quiet. A faint buzzing, a soft ringing in one ear, something that comes and goes. You might think it is because of stress or because you did not sleep well. Then gradually, over weeks or months, it becomes more noticeable. It stays longer. It becomes harder to ignore. You begin to hear it during the day, even when there is background noise, and at some point it reaches a level where it starts to affect your focus, your sleep, and your overall sense of calm. But even then, many people still do not take it seriously. They adapt to it instead of addressing it. What you need to understand is that this kind of ringing, often called tinnitus, is very closely connected to your nervous system and your blood circulation. Inside your ear are tiny, delicate structures that depend on a steady flow of oxygen-rich blood and precise nerve signaling to function properly. These structures are incredibly sensitive. Even a small disruption in blood flow or nerve communication can change how sound is processed, and that change can be perceived as ringing, buzzing, or humming. Now here is where it becomes important. As we age, several things begin to change inside the body. Blood circulation becomes less efficient. The small blood vessels that supply areas like the inner ear can become narrower or less flexible. At the same time, the nervous system becomes more sensitive to imbalances. Nerves that are slightly irritated or undernourished may begin sending abnormal signals. And when these two factors combine, reduced circulation and unstable nerve signaling, the result can show up exactly as that persistent ringing in your ears. But most people never connect these dots. They focus only on the symptom, not the system behind it. They think the ear itself is the problem, when in reality, the ear is just where the signal is being noticed. The actual cause is often deeper in the way your body is maintaining balance, delivering nutrients, and supporting nerve health. Another important factor to consider is how gradual this process is. This does not happen overnight. Your body does not suddenly wake up one day and create ringing out of nowhere. It develops over time. Small changes build up slowly until they reach a point where your body can no longer compensate, and that is when you start noticing the symptom. This is why ignoring it is so risky. Because by the time you are hearing that sound regularly, your body has likely been struggling with the underlying issue for quite some time. Let me give you a simple way to think about it. Imagine your body as a system that is constantly trying to maintain balance. When everything is working well, you feel normal. You do not notice anything unusual, but when something starts to go off track, even slightly, your body tries to correct it. If it can correct it easily, you never even know there was a problem, but if it cannot, it sends a signal. That signal is not the enemy, it is the message, and the ringing in your ears is one of those messages. Now here is something most people are never told. The longer this imbalance continues, the more your body adapts to it in a negative way. Nerves that are constantly sending abnormal signals can become more sensitive over time. Blood vessels that are not functioning properly can become less responsive. And the brain itself can begin to lock in the sound, making it feel more constant and more difficult to ignore. This is why early attention matters so much. It is not about fear, it is about timing. The earlier you understand what is happening, the easier it is to support your body and bring it back into balance. You also need to consider how this affects your overall well-being. Many people think ear ringing is just an annoyance, but it often goes deeper than that. It can affect your sleep because the sound becomes more noticeable in quiet environments. It can affect your focus because your brain is constantly trying to process or ignore the noise. It can even affect your mood, creating frustration or anxiety over time. All of this adds up, and when your body is already dealing with other age-related challenges, this extra stress can make everything feel worse. This is why I am telling you not to ignore it. Not because it is something to panic about, but because it is something to understand. Your body is giving you an opportunity to pay attention. It is showing you that something needs support. And once you understand that, you can start asking the right questions. You can start looking beyond the symptom and focusing on the cause. Ask yourself simple things. Has your energy been lower than usual? Do you feel more fatigued even after rest? Have you noticed other subtle changes like tingling, muscle tightness, or difficulty concentrating? These are all clues. They are pieces of a larger picture that your body is presenting to you. When you start connecting these pieces, you begin to see that the ringing is not isolated. It is part of a pattern, and this is exactly why awareness is the first step. Before you try to fix anything, you need to understand what your body is trying to say, because once you see it clearly, everything else becomes easier. You stop guessing, you stop ignoring, you start responding in a way that actually supports your body instead of working against it. So if you have been hearing that constant ringing, do not push it aside anymore. Do not label it as just age or something you have to live with forever. Your body is smarter than that. It is communicating with you in the only way it can. And right now, it is asking for your attention. Stay with that thought, because once you truly understand what this signal means, the next step, actually addressing it, becomes not only possible, but surprisingly simple. Now that you understand why that ringing should never be ignored, it's time to dive into the solution, the part most people never hear about. Because here's the truth. In many cases, constant ringing in your ears, that persistent tinnitus, isn't just about your ears. It's about a hidden deficiency in your body, something your system is missing, something your diet may not be providing in sufficient amounts, even if you think you're eating well. And this deficiency directly affects how your nerves send signals, how your inner ear functions, and even how your tiny blood vessels carry oxygen and nutrients to the structures that detect sound. Until this deficiency is corrected, the ringing persists, and all the remedies you try may only offer temporary relief. So let's break it down step by step. Think of your nervous system like a network of communication lines. Every nerve sends and receives signals, translating electrical impulses into the sensations you feel: touch, balance, temperature, and sound. When nerves are healthy, they transmit clear messages. When they're undernourished, inflamed, or stressed, the messages get distorted. In your ears, that distortion can manifest as tinnitus. You hear buzzing, ringing, or whistling that isn't caused by external sound. It's the result of misfiring signals. But why do these nerves misfire? Often it's because the body lacks a critical nutrient needed to maintain the insulation, repair, and proper signaling of these nerves. One of the most common culprits in seniors is a deficiency in magnesium, but not just any magnesium, the type that specifically supports nerve function and blood flow. Magnesium plays a role in calming nerve excitability. When magnesium levels are low, nerves can become overactive, sending signals when they shouldn't. That overactivity is exactly what causes the phantom ringing you hear in your ears. But many people take magnesium supplements without noticing much improvement. Why? Because magnesium alone is often not enough. Your body needs a combination of other nutrients to work synergistically with it. Without these additional nutrients, the magnesium cannot reach its full potential to calm nerve activity or improve blood vessel function. Another critical nutrient often missing in adults over 50 is vitamin B12. B12 is essential for maintaining the protective sheath around your nerves called the myelin sheath. Think of it like insulation around electrical wires. Without proper insulation, signals leak or misfire. This is particularly important in your auditory nerves, the nerves that carry sound signals from your inner ear to your brain. A B12 deficiency doesn't always present with obvious symptoms like anemia or fatigue. Sometimes the first noticeable symptom is tinnitus. This is why many seniors experience persistent ear ringing even though they are taking general multivitamins. If your B12 levels are suboptimal, the nerves remain compromised and the ringing continues. Then there's vitamin D, which plays a surprisingly important role in ear health. Vitamin D helps regulate calcium levels in the body, which in turn supports proper nerve function and neurotransmission. Low vitamin D levels can affect tiny muscles and nerves in your inner ear, causing abnormal firing patterns that your brain interprets as ringing. Unfortunately, vitamin D deficiency is extremely common in adults over 60, especially those who get limited sun exposure. Even a small deficiency can subtly affect nerve signaling, making tinnitus persistent or worsening over time. But the story doesn't end there. Another nutrient that is often overlooked and almost never tested in routine blood work is zinc. Zinc plays a crucial role in auditory function. It is a component of enzymes involved in inner ear cell repair and in neurotransmitter function. Low zinc levels can impair the ear's ability to maintain balance in nerve signaling, which can amplify the perception of ringing. Many seniors take supplements for general health but fail to consider zinc because it is not commonly associated with energy or immunity in mainstream advice. Yet without sufficient zinc, the tiny cells in your cochlea, which detect sound, struggle to function properly. Now, here's where it gets interesting. It's often not a deficiency of just one nutrient, but a combination. For instance, magnesium, B12, vitamin D, and zinc all interact. When one is low, it affects the others. Your body may have enough magnesium to relax nerves, but without adequate B12, those nerves remain structurally compromised. You might have enough vitamin D, but if zinc is deficient, the inner ear cells cannot repair themselves. This is why many people try various supplements and see little improvement. They are only addressing part of the picture. The body requires balance and synergy to repair the nervous system and reduce the ringing. Another contributing factor is blood circulation. Even if nutrient levels are adequate, poor circulation can prevent these nutrients from reaching the nerves in your inner ear. Over time, as blood vessels become less flexible and circulation slows, a natural part of aging, the auditory nerves may not receive the nutrients they need. This adds another layer to the deficiency problem. That is why simply taking vitamins is not always sufficient. You also need to support circulation. Certain foods, natural compounds, and gentle physical activity can help stimulate blood flow to these tiny, delicate nerves. Now let's talk about actionable steps. First, if you suspect a deficiency, the only way to know for sure is to get your levels tested. Blood tests for B12, vitamin D, and zinc can reveal hidden insufficiencies that you may not be aware of. Magnesium levels can also be checked, though sometimes they are better evaluated through functional assessments rather than standard serum tests. Understanding exactly what your body lacks allows you to create a targeted approach rather than randomly taking supplements. Random guessing rarely works, especially when multiple nutrients interact. Once deficiencies are identified, it's essential to provide your body with highly bioavailable forms of these nutrients. Not all supplements are created equal. For instance, B12 comes in different forms: cyanocobalamin, methylcobalamin, and adenosylcobalamin, with methylcobalamin often being more effective for nerve health. Magnesium comes in several forms, such as citrate, glycinate, or malate, each with different absorption properties. Choosing the right form can dramatically increase your body's ability to use the nutrient effectively, which directly impacts the reduction of tinnitus over time. Diet also plays a critical role. Certain foods are naturally rich in these nerve-supporting nutrients. For B12, foods like eggs, salmon, sardines, and fortified plant-based options are excellent. Magnesium is found in leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and legumes. Vitamin D is synthesized from sunlight, but fatty fish, eggs, and fortified foods can help supplement it. Zinc is abundant in shellfish, pumpkin seeds, beef, and lentils. Consistently including these foods in your diet ensures that your body has a steady supply of the raw materials needed to support auditory nerve health. Hydration should not be overlooked either. Dehydration, even mild, can reduce blood volume and circulation, which in turn affects nutrient delivery to your nerves. Many seniors do not drink enough water throughout the day, which compounds the problem. Adequate hydration, alongside electrolytes like potassium and sodium, helps maintain blood flow and cellular function, including the function of tiny auditory nerve cells. There are also natural compounds that can support nerve repair and reduce oxidative stress. Antioxidants like alpha-lipoic acid, resveratrol, and curcumin help neutralize free radicals that can damage nerves over time. These compounds are found in foods such as blueberries, spinach, walnuts, and turmeric. They complement the vitamins and minerals, creating a comprehensive approach to nerve health. When combined with correcting deficiencies, antioxidants can accelerate the reduction of ringing and protect nerves from further deterioration. Finally, lifestyle factors play a role. Avoid excessive exposure to loud noises, which can worsen nerve stress. Reduce alcohol intake, which can deplete certain nutrients and increase nerve irritation. Ensure you are sleeping well because during deep sleep, your body repairs nerves and optimizes nutrient use. Stress management is also essential. Chronic stress can deplete magnesium and increase nerve excitability, worsening tinnitus. In summary, the constant ringing in your ears is not random. It is a signal from your body that something is missing, a deficiency that affects nerve signaling, inner ear function, and blood flow. Addressing it requires more than just masking the symptom. It requires understanding exactly what your body lacks, replenishing those nutrients in the most effective forms, supporting circulation, incorporating supportive foods and antioxidants, maintaining hydration, and optimizing lifestyle factors. Once you take this comprehensive approach, the body begins to heal itself. The nerves calm down, blood flow improves, and over time, the ringing that once seemed constant and unmanageable can become much less noticeable or even disappear entirely. This hidden deficiency, when corrected in the right way, can be life-changing. Many seniors who thought they would just have to live with it find relief and regain focus, calm, and quality of life. And the best part is, these changes don't require extreme interventions. They rely on understanding the body's needs, replenishing what is missing, and creating an environment where nerves can function properly again. For anyone struggling with persistent ear ringing, this is the missing piece of the puzzle, the step that finally allows the body to restore balance and quiet the noise once and for all.